welcome back to my channel and welcome if you are new. Today's video is going to be my weeks 23 and 24 pregnancy update. So I will be covering these past 2 weeks in today's update. I am doing these updates every 2 weeks instead of every week just because I do have a 1-year-old and she keeps me very, very busy, as I'm sure you guys know if you are a mama of little ones. So this is just what has been working really well for me. And honestly, you guys, I feel like I just sat down and filmed my last update. These weeks are flying by. So if you are new here, my name is Jess and I am currently 24 weeks pregnant with our sweet baby boy. He is baby number 2, and my 1-year-old, she is 14 months. She is our rainbow baby girl. So this is my 3rd pregnancy, but I did miscarry my first little one. And so we are just so blessed and so grateful to have another one on the way. It is just such a blessing, truly. So I would love to have you stick around if you are new and you enjoy anything related to pregnancy, motherhood, or just home and lifestyle. I recently changed my YouTube upload schedule to Tuesdays and Saturdays, and then my pregnancy updates will be every other Sunday. So again, if you're new, please subscribe and don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. That helps me out so much, you guys. So let's go ahead and dive right in to my 23 and 24 weeks pregnancy update. I know it sounds a little silly, but let's go. Also, I wanted to mention, yes, I am in some workout gear. I have just been loving wearing activewear or athleisure clothes around pretty much every single day, being home and being pregnant. I did not get fancy today whatsoever, and I thought about changing for this video, but I decided, you know, this is what life is looking like now. This is what you get. So this week the baby is the size of an ear of corn. So he is around 12 inches in length, which is just, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's already that long. I can definitely tell, like I mentioned in my last update, because he moves around all the time, and I can tell that he is just growing and praying that he's still healthy. I haven't had an ultrasound in quite some time, but I did have a doctor's appointment, which I will talk about in this video, so stay tuned for that. But first, I want to talk about what baby's development is like this week. So I've kind of been bouncing back and forth between using my What to Expect book and my Ovia app, but because these weeks are flying by so quickly, you guys, I'm just like, I don't even know where baby is this week, to be honest. Does that happen to anyone else with their second kid? I don't know. Anyway, so I'm just going to use my book today, and I will link this book down below if you're interested. This has been super helpful for both of my pregnancies, but it does say that baby weighs over a pound now, which I figured that he did. He was close to a pound at my 20-week appointment. And like I said, he's the size of an ear of corn. He has a full set of eyelashes and eyebrows and also has some hair. But right now there is no pigment to his hair. And I'm sure he does have a little bit of hair because I have had a lot of heartburn, which is one of my symptoms that I'll mention here in a little bit again. But with my first baby, I had a ton of heartburn and she came out with a head full of hair. So I'm guessing that this little boy will as well. So I'm assuming he does have some hair. We are getting ready to schedule our 3D or 4D ultrasound because they are opening back up. They just have limited amounts of visitors in our area. So at that time, we will probably be able to see if he has a little bit of hair or not. I do remember that at Eliana's 3D ultrasound, we were able to see that, which was so cool. So I will of course keep you guys posted, and I will be sharing that as that time gets closer. So it says that the organs and bones can still be kind of seen through the skin a little bit if we were able to see baby, but I can't believe, you guys, I'm already in the 6th month. What? 6 months pregnant. So yes, it's just mind-blowing to me. By the way, if you missed my recent pregnancy routine video, I will link that down below as well. That way you guys can see kind of how big my belly is around this time. I just filmed that a couple of days ago. And since I'm mentioning that, why don't we go ahead and jump on over to my 24-week belly shot. All right, so here's my belly from the front and from the side. No hiding the fact that I'm pregnant now. Not that I was trying to hide it, of course, but you can definitely tell. So that is my 24-week belly. I will be 25 weeks this upcoming Tuesday. Now I'm just gonna use my pregnancy journal that I have been using since the beginning of this pregnancy to talk about some things that have happened over these past couple of weeks. And then of course I will include my symptoms, my cravings, and then just anything else, doctor's appointments, things like that. So if you are in this stage of your pregnancy as well, this will kind of just give you an idea as to what my experience is and maybe what yours might be like too. Of course, everyone's experience with pregnancy is different, so hopefully you find this helpful. But let's go ahead and start out with week 23. So during week 23, the only real symptom that I had was that I was super tired. So this has not really been typical throughout my second trimester, which is the same as it was with Eliana. During the second trimester, I had a lot of energy and I just kind of gained my energy back. I wasn't really tired too much, but honestly, not just during week 23, but both of these weeks, I have been very, very tired. So I don't know if I'm just trying to do a lot. I feel like we have been getting a lot done around the house lately, and Eliana has been very busy, which I guess is typical though. No real cravings during week 23, but this little boy, oh my goodness, is moving like crazy. He has been keeping me up at night, which is probably why actually I've been tired. So for these past couple of weeks, I've had a really hard time falling asleep, and then I still toss and turn all the time throughout the night. And part of the reason that I've had trouble falling asleep is because he is kicking me so much in the hips. So I lay on my side when I go to bed at night, and if I'm laying on my right side, he will kick or move down, hitting my, it feels like my hip. I don't know how else to explain it, but like down in this area, and it jolts me awake because it's just so like harsh, you know, just like a punch or a kick, and it makes me jump. And so if I'm starting to doze off, he'll move and it's just like, ah, and then I'm startled awake, my heart's racing. So I'll flip over to the other side, get cozy and comfy again, and then start to doze off, and he'll like punch or kick on the other side down in that same area. So it's just like, oh my goodness, little one. That has been happening a lot. And then of course I have to get up and use the bathroom very frequently. Frequent urination is definitely a symptom also these past couple of weeks. And yes, it's just been a struggle trying to actually get to sleep. And then throughout the night, I've also had a lot on my mind. So I think that's why I've been tossing and turning. I have tried Natural Calm and I've tried some Unisom, which is what I ended up taking last time with my first little one. And that did help with her pregnancy for the most part, if I remember correctly. But it has not been helping, so I haven't really been taking it that often because I'm also feeling tired the next day, and I'm wondering if that's why. However, I've only been taking half of a tablet so that I don't feel too foggy or drowsy the next day, but it still feels, I don't know, I just haven't really enjoyed how I feel the next day, even though it is safe during pregnancy and everything. I just don't like how it's making me feel, and I don't know if it's related to that specifically, but I've definitely had a hard time falling asleep, a hard time staying asleep, and then drowsiness or tiredness the next day. So my energy levels are just super low, which has kind of hindered my productivity, but hey, you know, it is what it is. I'm doing my best. And we've been having fun here at home still, but I am definitely feeling very pregnant at this point, for sure. So week 24, like I said, insomnia, tiredness, frequent urination. Like I mentioned, I'm feeling very, very pregnant right now. Just that heavy, hard tummy feeling where you're just like, oof, I just feel really pregnant. So I don't remember feeling like this early on with Eliana, but I honestly don't remember. Maybe I did, but I feel like I'm already waddling around a little bit, just feeling very heavy and tired. And even though I have energy spurts throughout the day, a lot of the time it's just like, oof, I feel achy. You know, all of those not very fun pregnancy symptoms are coming in. But I definitely will count my blessings because I know it could be a lot worse. So to me, it's totally worth it. I will take it any day, but those kinds of symptoms are starting to show up. And then, like I mentioned earlier, during week 24, I have been getting a lot of heartburn. So I actually feel like I have heartburn a little bit right now. It's nothing severe. It's just one of those pregnancy symptoms, you know, that show up for a lot of us. And I can feel it now. I feel like I could go take a Tums, but I've been trying not to. I've only taken Tums a couple of times. I've just been trying to drink a lot of water and things like that to help alleviate that. As far as cravings go this week, let's see, cravings this week. Oh, so last night I was talking to Chaz. We were in bed already. We had already eaten dinner and I was like, oh my goodness, I just am craving curry. So my dad, growing up, would always make this certain chicken curry and rice, and I am a vegetarian now, but growing up I would eat that and we would have that all the time. It was so delicious and I just was craving that so badly last night. So the way that we make it now is Chaz will still add in his chicken, but we usually throw in veggies, so broccoli, potatoes, carrots, anything like that, and still have it with rice, and it is so delicious, you guys. It's just like boxed curry, and it's in like the international food sections in your local grocery store, most likely. I'll try to find a link and link it down below, but it is so good, and it's probably not the healthiest of curry options, but it's delicious, and I have been craving that so much recently. So we did do some grocery shopping and we picked it up today. So I'm super excited to have that either this weekend or sometime this week. But yes, I cannot wait to try that. I'll be sure to post it on my Insta stories or something so that you guys can see what it turns out like, but it's so good. That's pretty much been my only craving though, is that curry. And then this week I did have a doctor's appointment. So it was not an ultrasound. The doctor just checked the baby's heartbeat and his heart rate was 124 beats per minute, you guys. That is so low. She said it was normal, but that is so much lower than what Eliana's ever was. Hers was always in like the 150s, maybe 140s to 160s. This little one's was 124. To me, that just seems so low. But like I mentioned on Instagram, I was just chatting about that after I had my appointment. And it seems like the old wives' tale is true, at least for my babies. So what they say is that girls have higher heart rates above 140 and that boys have lower heart rates below 140. And for me, it seems like that has been the case pretty much throughout my pregnancies. And then after this last appointment, my doctor did have me do some more blood work to check my thyroid levels again to make sure that they were in the normal range, which I'm not sure if she's gotten those results back or not yet. But the last ones that I did, she said that they were right on the edge of being normal, which is great. So I wanted to talk about this because this is so interesting. So when I had Eliana, and even before that, I had been feeling a lot of different things going on that could have been related to thyroid, but I never really made the connection, or I kind of thought about it, but I never really had it checked out. Well, then I lost my milk supply when I was breastfeeding, and luckily I was able to still give her some breast milk up until she was a year old, but I did have to supplement with formula. And when I met with one of the many lactation consultants, she told me to have my thyroid levels checked because she believed that it could be hormonal. And that was the first lactation consultant to ever bring anything like that up. So I was like, okay, well that kind of makes sense because you know, thyroid issues, for one, are very common in women. Sometimes they are pregnancy induced. I believe they can be genetic, and I do have family members who, you know, have had some issues here and there during pregnancy. I don't believe, not during pregnancy, but during pregnancy with their thyroid. So I was like, okay, well, at my next appointment, I will have those levels checked. So I did, and they came back as looking like hypothyroidism. So I forget exactly what that is. One of the levels was high and one of the levels was low. And so my doctor put me on 25 micrograms and that didn't do enough. So then she upped the dosage to 50 micrograms, which she said is still a low dosage, but that's what I've been taking now. And I feel a lot better. I know I'm saying I'm tired and things now, but I think that's just pregnancy related and because I'm not sleeping. On nights where I get a good night's rest, I truly feel so much better these days. And so even with that little tiny change, taking those 50 micrograms each morning, I am feeling a big difference and my levels are evening out. So it is helping. And so I did have to get some more blood work done though to make sure that I was still within the normal range. They have to check it periodically throughout my pregnancy and then they'll have to check it again after I deliver this baby. But I am so interested to see after this baby is born how my milk supply is and how the thyroid plays into breastfeeding for me this time around. If that even is connected, I have no clue. I'll of course share that with you guys as that time comes along, but just wanted to throw it out there because it will be just really neat to see if I'm able to fully breastfeed this baby, you know, up until a year without having to supplement. If I'm on the right medication, I don't know. We'll have to see. But that is pretty much it. Baby boy has just been moving all around, and we believe we have finally chosen a name for him. I am still like, is that it? Is it? Is it? I've been doing a lot of praying about it and asking him, is this your name? Is this not your name? I keep asking him like, okay, kick or move if your name is blank. And if he doesn't kick or move, then I say something like, oh, your name isn't blank? Or is it something else? Is it supposed to be something else? I know, so silly. I'm driving myself crazy, you guys. Like, boy names are so hard. But anyway, we actually are going back to the same name that we have loved for a long time. Ever since college, actually, is probably the name we're gonna go with for him. And there is a story kind of behind it. There are a couple of reasons where I'm like, you know, are people gonna think that it sounds like this or that it sounds like that? When we've mentioned it before we knew Eliana was a girl, when we kind of put it out there, it wasn't a fan favorite, but I need you just to remember that, you know, as long as we love it and that we feel like it's a fitting name for him and there's meaning behind it and all of that, then that should be sufficient. Then that should be perfectly fine. It doesn't matter what, you know, everyone else thinks. There are going to be people that don't like the name and there are going to be people who love it. So that's just how it is with every single name anyway. So I'm just kind of like caught up in my head and my thoughts about it, but I think it still is the name for him, but we have a little bit left to kind of decide on. I think we're kind of saying we have the name, but then if something else comes along that we like, you know, we may change it. So nothing's like set in stone yet, but I think it's exciting that we think we know what we're gonna name him and we're pretty set on it for the most part, unless something else comes along. So I'm trying to get in the habit of saying that name to him or calling him that, but it's just so strange to me because I think with Eliana's name, like I knew that was her name. As soon as I heard it and I heard the song with her name in it and I heard the meaning behind her name, especially after our miscarriage, her name means my God has answered or the Lord has answered my prayers. And we prayed so hard for her after our miscarriage that I was just like, yes, this is her name. I know this is her name. Whereas with this little one, I'm like, I really like that name. We've loved this name for years, ever since Chaz and I were in college together, and we like it for all of these different reasons. But I just don't have that like, yes, this is meant to be his name. You see what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm so weird about names, you guys. Really driving people crazy. But anyway, that is pretty much it for weeks 23 and 24. I only have a few weeks left of the second trimester and then we will be in the third trimester already, you guys. So, so exciting. We are still waiting on kind of approval with our move stuff. So that has been very interesting and a little stressful, but I know it will all work out how it's supposed to. But again, it still looks like we are going to be here in Florida for this baby's birth, and then we will most likely be moving a few weeks after. So pray for us. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.